Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. About 5 topics for this video. The first one, I will briefly talk about the Middle East issue, about Lebanon, about Gaza, about Iran, about Israel, a little bit. I intend to make a real video that I will post it on Rumble later today, where I will tell you the way I see things over there. I can't do that on YouTube for obvious reasons. For censorship reasons, that is. So I will discuss a little bit when I'm going to make that video on Rumble. I will make on YouTube, so I let you know I posted it. So the first one is Iran's supreme leader hides because he's afraid that he's going to be blown up like others by the justice dispensing country over there. So the Middle East going to be about 3 articles. Then we have the Russians who liberate another village or take over, however you want to call that. I will have 2 articles on that and a map. Then we are going to have Medvedev, the former president of the Russian Federation, threatening Poland and the Baltic states, and I will include Romania as well in that if they keep doing what they do best, which is sucking someone's thing, continuing to doing that. That is Medvedev. Then we have the same game with Storm Shadow missiles. Should we give them, should we allow them to hit inside Russia or not? And I can predict based on these 3 articles that I have here regarding the nuclear war that probably is going to happen, when it's going to happen, and that I have the time, and that's offered by these guys' statements and decisions. So if when the West will allow or will hit inside Russia, Russia will use nuclear weapons. That's about 99% certainty, to me at least, or for me. And the Americans are telling us when that would be. And they will play the same game as they played so far with the mountain slope model, which is always start slowly and eventually, should we do it, should we not? No, we won't do it. And then they will say, yeah, we do it. So they're there. They are almost on the top to let you know the decision they made a long time ago, which is they will allow the Ukrainians to hit deep inside Russia and say, now what are you going to do, Russia? And Russia is going to hit you and I, not them. All right, so that's about 3 articles. And then we have Lavrov calling the things the way they are, which is he calls the Anglo-Saxon axis, which is in control of all this, which is United States of America and Great Britain. The rest are baboons. And I will make a point that that is correct by providing you with evidence. Then we have the way you ascend on the ladder of career. You fuck up and you are promoted. I will show you the brigade commander from the 72nd Mechanized Brigade in Ukraine. He fucks up and he gets promoted. That's normal, I guess. Oh, well, no, if you do that, you don't get promoted. But I remember Condoleezza Rice. Remember September 11? Was she fired? Anything happened to her? No. All right, and we have the last one, the last topic, which is about Ukraine, that is doing what the guys in the Middle East are doing. If you don't do, or you don't say what I want you to say, then I will call you this, you're a hater, you're this and that, you are against me. And Ukraine right now turns around and will accuse not only Brazil and China, but Switzerland, will condemn Switzerland. Why? Because Switzerland doesn't do what these imbeciles in charge of the Ukrainian nation want Switzerland to do. Now remember, the Ukrainians will up this, will go higher than this, will escalate. Now it's condemning, tomorrow is going to send their buddies with the weapons you provided through the elected officials that you voted one time. Are we responsible? I think the system is responsible, but we are part of the system. So can we change it? We should. We should change it. We should make it better. What's better? We can discuss that in a different video. Here, let's start with this one. Iran's supreme leader moved to secure location under heightened security, sources say. Why? All right, what do you think? Because someone hit Lebanon Hezbollah and killed Chief Hassan Parabab in a strike. So now, between you and I, straight, I always had a problem with, for instance, the Pope. Remember when the Pope was with that Pope machine with a bullet safety glass? Remember that one? That when if I were a religious leader, that's me. When I think that I really believe that I am the guy and there is the guy, I would never, never hide. Never. Why? Thy be your will or something? Something like this. So why do you hide? You don't want to die or something? You're going to meet your creator sooner. Or that's the way the secret plan works or something. Mysterious ways, right? Why these guys hide all the time? I don't understand the religious leaders, why they hide against faith. Why? I mean, Jesus Christ hid? Did he? He did not hide. Anyway, this I understand. Supreme leader also is a religious leader, so he believes in all that. But that's my take on that. Always when I see a supreme leader or a leader or a pope or whatever patriarch taking all these measures, oh, there are crazies out there. Well, then there's always a God, and you are a believer. Next one. Here, Biden and Harris called the Israeli strike killing Hezbollah and I'm quoting, a measure of justice. This guy, look at him. This guy is not normal. I mean, I've been around old people, sick people, healthy people. This doesn't look there cognitively. Let's put it this way. Doesn't really matter because he's not in charge. So they call it that way. Now, if this is measure of justice, can others use the same measure of justice? Can they use it against you? Unless you think that you're always right and you never fuck up. I think that's the way they think. That is kind of like a narcissistic trait, isn't it? You never make a mistake right there. And this guy right here from Iran, a guy that I like very much, I tell you, I like the way he thinks, I like the way he acts. Now, I don't know if he's a criminal or not, or if he's an angel or not. That's not up to me, and I don't give a shit. I like this guy because I heard him talk. He is Iran Vice President for Strategic Affairs. He used to be the Foreign Minister of Iran under President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and I listened to him extensively because I liked how he answered the baboons here, the media operatives, the so-called interviewers and all this, Anapur and the kind of garbage. So this is what he says, which I disagree with, but hey, who am I to, I think I have the right to say my opinion. We are, and I'm quoting, we are exercising restraint. Iranian Vice President on risk of all-out war. Oh, well, this is the way I look at it. Let's say you are a victim, and I hope you're not. Or let's talk about an imaginary scenario. There is a victim of an, process of rape right now. It's ongoing right now. And the victim, instead of defending herself, tells you that she, let's put a gender on that, she tells you, I am exercising restraint to oppose the assailant, the criminal. How would that sound? You can't. The grapes are sour. You can't. Therefore, you say, I'm superior. I'm the better man. But you still get pumped, right? Pumped. Or the other one is maybe you like it, and the third one, maybe you are in the cahoots with the guy, which turns into liking it. You're exercising restraint until when? Until 15,000 pump, or 10,000 pump, or 190 pumps, or maybe 5 pumps, or let's say 0 pumps. When are you going to react? You have to, because as you can tell, things are escalating. And the bully's mentality is what? You don't oppose me, I will get more of a bully, and I will push further and further and further. And at one point, you have to react like the baboons right now in Russia. They react after 2 years and almost 3 years. Oh, we're going to use nuclear weapons, back off. Now, after all these thousands of people were killed and destroyed, well, in the meantime, they won the other club. So that was a good strategic move. I gotta tell you that, which is BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and many others. They are forming a second club. Therefore, they broke away from these baboons. Instead of just saying, we're going to use nuclear weapons the second day of these guys providing the Ukrainians with weapons. But the same, after 2 years, you say it's enough. You could have said it the second day, but that tells me you calculated. And since the Russians are Europeans, I have faith in them. Not that kind of faith, but faith, whatever. Faith, whatever you take it. No, I trust them. So let's go to the Russian media, Russia Today. Russian forces liberate, as they call it, Makeevka. Minister of Defense report. The defense minister has reported that another settlement in the Lugansk People's Republic was taken by the West tactical group. I was confused. I was wondering, by the West? The West took it or you took it? Russian forces have liberated another settlement in Donbass. And the defense minister reported on Sunday, the settlement of Makeevka in Russia's Lugansk People's Republic has been taken by the West tactical group. All right, where is that at? That is right here. So this is Makeevka. How do I know? Because I use Google Map. All right, and we have, if you go like this, and you go, where are you, baby doll? Make it a bit smaller. You have Severodonetsk. Oh, you don't see it because of my melon. Okay, let's relax. Don't do it. So, where are we? Right there. So you look at the Severodonetsk. Like this. It's about 45 degrees right here. Northwest from Severodonetsk is this little town of Makeevka. Why? Because I'm going to use this map, and you're not going to see Makeevka here. That's why. But it's a clearer map. Here is the Lugansk, or Luhansk, Lugansk People's Republic of Luhansk, and it is Severodonetsk. We find it right here with my strong hand here. And we go 45 degrees northwest. It's somewhere where this little bulge is. Doesn't show, but it's probably in here in this area. Now, on the big scheme of things, the Russians are attacking and how do you call that? Are advancing, as well as here. This is in Belgorod, Kharkiv, Kharkov, and here is the big thing by these guys are calling it Krasnoarmeysk, which is whatever their name, town's name is in Ukrainian. I can't remember it. What the hell is this name? Isn't it Pokrovsk, I think? All right, let's move to the next one. Russian special military operation. According to Sputnik, Russian forces take control of Makeevka in Lugansk region, defense ministry said. So that is, I already covered in the other article and on the map right here. And here we have Medvedev. Attack Russia and be reduced to a stain, Medvedev. That's clear? Is it clear? Capisci? All right, that means nuclear attack. Small NATO states that make threats should remember Moscow's nuclear deterrent, the former president has said. Clear? Clear. Small NATO members who dream about attacking Russia should know Article 5 is not effective against tactical nuclear weapons, the deputy head of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, said. So that means if we attack you with nuclear weapons, you can't ask the Billy boy to come and bully out the Russians. The former Russian president and prime minister was commenting on recent statements by Estonia's top general about preemptive quote-unquote strikes on Russia in the service of NATO objectives. And I'm quoting, the sillier the state, the greater the arrogance of the individual insane leaders. Medvedev told reporters on Friday, people should take into account only one thing. Should Russia use, say, tactical nuclear weapons against a state that allows itself such statements, nothing but a stain will remain. Estonia could deliver the quote-unquote, first blow in case of a perceived threat from Russia. Major General Vahur Karus, the chief of the Joint Headquarters of Estonian Defense Forces, told blah 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 in mid-September, and I'm quoting, "We cannot just wait around to be hit with sledgehammer and need to be able to do some things first," he said, adding that this nation's quote-unquote deep strike capability is fully a part of NATO plans today. According to the general, Tallinn could have, I'm quoting, to take care of certain targets, quote-unquote, to give other NATO members time, and I'm quoting, come to take the next steps. Sure, I'm quoting, Article 5 of Washington Treaty may apply, that is NATO, Washington Treaty, that's how it started. But the state will now no longer exist, Medvedev added, referring to NATO's famous mutual defense provision. So it seems like they may apply, but the patient is dead. And I'm quoting, "Our long-range strike abilities are fully taken into account in NATO plans, and NATO tells us, orders you, which is the United States of America, that we have to take care of certain targets in Russia, and that's when they can come to Estonia and take the next steps." So that means you want to poke the bear yourselves, you're going to get it. Now, Estonia is a very small country as number in Europe and the territory as well, and it's a weak country. Why? It doesn't have a big population, and it doesn't have any big industry available to produce anything. It's too close to Russia and can be destroyed with one bomb. So Estonia is less than 2 million people. I think less than one, or it's 1.2 million people or something like that. Remember, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, the Baltic states, they together, the population of these states is 6.1 million people. Now, remember, 6.1, they have Kaliningrad next door. They have Belarus next door. These guys have been big mouths since they were activated by Washington. The same with the Poles, and the Romanians know. The Romanians are very circumspect, are waiting, but when they receive an order, they will do it. The Poles are doing it not only because they're told by the Americans, but they have a personal score to settle with the Russians, which unfortunately they are delusional. But I have to tell you that I drank some Polish beer yesterday, so forgive me for violating the Polish beer. But anyway, good beer though. I posted it on Facebook. I went to a Polish grocery store in Detroit, and I brought, my cousin bought for me a dark beer, beautiful beer. I gotta tell you, I love Guinness, but this one was, anyway. And then a friend of mine from Facebook suggested another beer, a blonde beer, and the blonde beer was fantastic again, unbelievable. I posted the pictures on Facebook. Thank you very much for the suggestion. Yes. So anyway, the Russians will destroy these guys at the first attempt. If Estonia tries something, if Poland tries something, if Romania, maybe Romania not that much, but Romania is dangerous because it has Mihailco Galnicianu air base, NATO, the biggest in Europe, a NATO base. It's by the Black Sea in Romania, so they will be blown up in one strike. Oh no, they have the Patriot systems over there, my bad. So again, I think these guys, the Baltic states, will be blown up if they do something. I think the Russians will have no patience with them. The problem is Estonia has about 25% of its population Russian. So what are you going to do about it? Well, that's tricky. So this is Medvedev. You can do it. We're going to queue up. Well, too late a little bit. Now let's see how these guys are working the mountain slope model in order to tell us, yes, we decided to allow the Ukrainians, click, use Storm Shadow missiles or others on the Russian territory deep inside. The decision has been made, I think, and it's a yay. But they just playing, like the whore that supposedly she doesn't want to be, she doesn't want to be too easy. So she's like, nah, stop, come on now. Deschamps, stop, come on, Michel. All right, that's the way it is. And she wanted it, he wanted it. They both know they will have it, but they play, the foreplay a little bit, and she gets a little bit slushy, and let's move on. So, US may allow Ukraine to strike deep into Russia after presidential elections. So that's when the Russians will use nuclear weapons. it goes like I tell you, if you come closer, if you make one more step towards me in my bubble, my private bubble, I will defend myself by, I don't know, punching you first. If you come close, I'm going to use the elbow. If you come close, I'm going to use the head. Next one, I'm going to turn you around and fuck you. So, just kidding. Anyway, so here is the thing. These guys are telling us when the war will start. After the presidential election. But have you noted here? US may allow Ukraine to strike deep after. And then we have, what's that? That's the storm shadow. Yes, because the next one is Joe Biden preventing Ukraine firing storm shadow missiles at Russia. Storm shadow missiles are not American weapons. They are British. And we have the scalp missiles, which are the same thing, because the Brits and the French cooperated and they take a shit and made the storm shadow missiles and the scalp missiles. But you don't hear about the scalp missiles. The French don't do that. Only these guys. So, but Joe Biden, the American president, tells a third country that they can't use a second country's missiles. That tells you who supposedly is in charge, who is the subordinate in the first subordinate, and who's the third subordinate. Which is, these guys are together using these guys against Russia. Now, here is what Lavrov said. Russia's Lavrov rejects restart of global cooperation. I'm going to cover this in a different video. And I'm going somewhere down here. And here is this. With regard to Russia's war against Ukraine, Lavrov detected a US-British conspiracy to destroy Russia. Hey, what's this? Bam, boom, boom. So one country tells another country you can't do it, and it tells this one as well. Detect to destroy Russia. Secret plans had already envisaged the destruction of the then Soviet Union in 1945. And I'm quoting Lavrov. But today's Anglo-Saxon strategists do not hide their plans. I think he is 100% right. By these guys. And we know when the war will start. When these guys will strike inside Russia, Russia will nuke the whomever did it. Next one. Brigade commander from 72nd Mechanized Brigade defending Vuhledar transferred. Now this is transferred with a promotion. Vuhledar is surrounded by the Russians, so he failed, or whomever, and he gets transferred. Whose son are you? So Colonel Ivan Vinik, or Vinik, commander of the 72nd Separate Mechanized Brigade, named after the Black Cossacks, thanked his soldiers after his transfer. I would like you to look into the Cossacks and see how kind they were for their times, even. Esteemed officers, sergeants, soldiers. All right, I thank you. I'm honored to be part of the Black Cossacks and to bond BBB. So what happened with this guy? What happened? Let's see. Not that one. Sorry, right here. This is Vuhledar. So he is in charge. And he says, they noted that Vinik is an example of a true and honest combat officer. Maybe you are an experienced and humane commander, okay? And the consequences is that. You see that? That's Vuhledar, or Ugledar as the Russians call it. And this is why he was transferred, but it's promoted. Let me show you on this map here, where that is. Right here. Ugledar. The Russians do not do a good job to update their shit. But anyway, this is Ugledar, Vuhledar. This is in next to Zaporozhia. So this is Donetsk. And then you have it in the big scheme of things, right where my strong hand is, that area. And I want to see where he was promoted, because it says somewhere that he was promoted. He was not just kicked out. Has been appointed, okay. Last week, Operational Command Pivnik Nord wrote that Vinik, this guy, had been appointed to a higher position, and I'm going for the purpose of promotion and to transfer combat experience. Do you mean this kind of experience? This kind? I mean, that's their country. I guess they can do whatever they want. And the last article has to do with Ukraine, which is going to hit, I would think, whomever they don't like and whomever doesn't do what they want them to do. And it's not the Ukrainians, it's the guys in charge of Ukraine. Ukraine's foreign ministry condemns Switzerland's support for Chinese and Brazilian initiative. The Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has expressed disappointment at Switzerland's support for the Sino-Brazilian peace initiative on Ukraine and called on all countries that support international law and the UN Charter to avoid participating in such initiatives. Oh my God, and you gotta take United States out of it, because it definitely did not respect support international law in Yugoslavia, just to mention one. All right. So the Ukrainian side is disappointed with the information about the Swiss side support for the so-called Sino-Brazilian peace initiative. So this is the narcissistic view. You do it my way, you're my friends as long as you do what I tell you. When you don't do what I tell you, you're my enemy, you're an ass, you're blah, 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 blah. It's typical. So that's the way it is. Now what are they going to do? Because we know the Ukrainians, once you do something, they will do something to you. You want to see Hungary, you want to see Slovakia with the gas transfers? Go ahead and see it. And not only that, Germany as well. And who allows these guys to behave like that? Remember, Ukraine is dead tomorrow, or today, if these guys say, you know what, we're done with you. They're done. Everything they got, the life support, all of it comes from outside. Most Ukrainians, I would say, who left, obviously don't want to participate, are a lot of them in Ukraine that want this over, Red Rover, give them the Russians, wherever the Russians are, and so on. But you got the guys in charge who are Zelensky, Stein, Umerov, the defense minister. Then you got, who's not the Stein, you got Shmihal Stein, and you got, what's the other one, the Yermak Stein. All these guys want to continue the war because they are at the orders of someone else, right? So, my friends, remember, a lot of weapons were provided to Ukraine space. And let's don't play full retard here. We know that those weapons did not end up, all of them, in the hands of the good people of Ukraine. They fell, they were transferred, they trickled down to some bad people who sold them on the black market. Or they kept them for themselves for future reference. Why? When you're going to try to demote me, I'm going to use those weapons against you if you want to attack me, if you know what I mean. About the insurrection, military insurrection in Ukraine could be coming. So that's another one. So these guys have all kind of groups over there armed. Those guys, when they will be told no by someone from the West, they have the means to do something bad. And I predict that regardless how this war ends in Ukraine, let's say Russia is eliminated or Russia wins or whatever the outcome is, you will have groups, criminal groups armed with weapons, very small weapons and very dangerous, that could change political views in the West. In the West, I'm talking about Europe, not necessarily the United States of America. So it's going to come back to you. How? Look at the drones. Have you seen the size of the drones with bombs underneath them? They're like this big. This big. If you put them together, you get to a little box like this. You know how big a semi-truck is with 53 feet long trailers? Or a car, or I don't know, someone's ass. Nowadays, I think it fits in some people's asses. Land whales. So what do you think will happen? They will transfer. Have you seen how big is how do you call that? Juveniles, you know, anti-tank or whatever. Have you seen how small they are? Have you seen? Airplanes are still flying, taking off and landing. Look at, I don't have to say anymore. You know, understand, those guys will, if you condemn Switzerland that supported you, broke its neutrality for you because the Americans told them so in the banking system, and you condemn them, what's going to be next? All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.